Here we go. Start introducing yourself and your character and a little bit about your characters. Ladies first.
Oh, great. Hi, I'm Kira Lace Hawkins. I'm playing Vera Claythorne. She has been hired to be the secretary to Mrs. Owen, who owns the house that we're going to.
Hi, I'm Matthew Janisse. I play Philip Lombard. He's a captain, and he comes to the house for some reason that I don't want to give away.
It's a murder mystery, so
Murder mystery.
Yes. So I feel like I can ask you a lot of questions. You guys can't tell you.
Well, we'll give you snippets.
Okay.
Gems.
Well, this is based on Agatha Christie's book. Tell me as much as you can about the story and a background, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, so the premise is that there is Mr. and Mrs. Owen, and they own this house on Soldier Island that's completely surrounded by water, and 10 people end up coming to the house. And so 2 of them are hired to be the butler and the cook, and then I'm hired to be the secretary, and the other 7 are just simply guests. And throughout the play, we find out that we've been invited there for various reasons. There's a really interesting hook that got each person there to the island, and so that's something that is revealed throughout the play.
What I think is really interesting is it's not exactly the same as the book. So even if you've read the book and you think you know what's going to happen in the story of the play, Agatha wrote the play as well. So it has a different ending.
And the characters are a little bit different.
Things are added or things are fleshed out a little bit more, and of course it's a play, so you get the things that we as people add to the story.
I think that's something that's really fun, though, is that if you are a fan of Agatha Christie, you can really see she's such an amazing craftsman with her books, and you can really see the changes she made in the play. And we're all just kind of, you think murder mystery and you think, it's kind of I'm sure it's poorly written and just hobnob, but we're learning that, she really introduces things at the vital moment for us to maybe suspect somebody, and then something else will happen, and she's really smart in her adaptation of her own book.
No, I know the book was written in 1939, so is this the same time period, or was this play updated, or? It
is the same time period. We, for our purposes, are moving it up to late 40s instead of early 30s, so we're doing post-World War II instead of post-World War I. But that's I think that might just be because our designers really like that era. And it still works and everything.
Perfect. Now, is there a reason there are 10 characters invited to the island? Is there a significance to the number 10?
There is. I don't think we should say that.
No?
There's a significance.
Okay. There's a significance.
That's a fun discovery in the play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
There's going to be a lot of this interview. What's that question? No. Well, I'm not going to answer that.
Okay, let's see if I can. This will go anywhere. Your characters have a kind of ended up with a kind of special relationship or something.
That's true.
So, what can you tell me about your guys' relationship in the show? Again, without giving too much away.
I think for our relationship, when you start off, everyone's introduced. Each character's introduced, and we are introduced together, not as a pair, but as individuals who sort of have a little kinship, a little flirty flirt. But of course, with every relationship in the play, it's always changing, because there comes the point where you're like questioning who they are and why they do certain things, and there's an abundance of different archetype characters. And you've got like a detective, a policeman. That's the same thing.
An
old judge, old general, old bitter lady, very religious, and then you have like the crass butler and.
Okay. Well, once Agatha Christie in this play specifically probably influenced the genre a lot. I mean, I would say even the board game Clue is kind of almost influenced by this. Who did it? Because yeah. So, talk a little bit about the influence Agatha Christie's plays had on murder mysteries today, and kind of.
I mean, she really invented the genre. There wasn't any murder mysteries until she created and started writing in this way, which gave us all these other things that to now, you you turn on the soap opera and all of a sudden someone's murdered someone. You're like, who done it? That's another murder mystery, isn't it? Who done it?
And I can't say I'm well versed in the genre, but like Matthew said, she really did kind of pioneer this. Found that it was wildly popular, and then with her play The Mousetrap, which is still the longest running play in England. I think that's a fact. I don't know. You can check on that.
That's a fact.
Something like that.
I'll Google it later.
She found how wildly popular they were with the audiences as well, not only her readers. So it's really inspiring, and that she was a woman in that time period is pretty cool too.
Yeah. And this one actually, I mean, it actually it's not where the audience is left leaving, guessing who did it. I mean, by the end, it actually does have a.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those stories where you think you have it figured out multiple times in the show. After 5 minutes, I'm sure you're like, oh, it's that one. And then something happens, you're like, oh, it can't be him. Oh, it must be her. Then something else happens. Right until the very end, I think you won't know who it is until you see them.
Yeah.
Well, when you got the script for this for the first time, had you already known who it was, or was the first time you found out by the time you got the script?
I read the novel before, so although I can't say that I knew that it was going to end the same way as the novel, because we said there were quite a few changes made to the play.
Yeah, I didn't read the book, I didn't read the synopsis, I just read the play, and I went, really? Whoa!
It's a surprise.
Surprise.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
So was this your introduction to Agatha Christie then?
Absolutely. Well, no, I did Mousetrap, kind of. I was involved in a production that didn't go through, but I was the butler in that. So I knew the sort of style of the murder mystery and what it is. Because another great thing about these type of shows is you're introduced to 10 characters, and as the play goes on, you slowly get to know them more, but as soon as you get to know them, they kind of disappear because they die.
Right.
But then it's an interesting journey for an audience to see 10 people get slowly invested, but then slowly invested in the survivors, because you're like, okay, wait, who's going to go next? I don't want them to go next. I've learned so much about them. They're probably going to die next. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the only play of this season. Doing the play, you guys have both of you done plays here before? Mm-hmm. Okay. So what is it about the play that kind of gives a break from the musical, or is it kind of a different?
It's a totally different feel for us as actors. The rehearsal process is totally different. We're almost fully blocked within 2 days of rehearsal, which is, of course, much different from the musicals. Obviously, we don't have to worry about learning music and learning dances, which tends to suck most of the time from our rehearsal process for the musicals. So we really get to focus on crafting our characters and making the moment-to-moment work click, and really spending time to pay attention to what's going to tell the story best and what's going to be most entertaining for the audience.
Yeah, it's not as... I feel it's more organic doing the play, because there aren't sections where you feel you need to get, say, if you're doing Mary Poppins, you're like, oh, step in time, it's a big tap number, we got to spend a day on this, because this has got to be great, and then everyone's got to learn this dance, where this is, let's do the beginning, middle, and end. Mm-hmm. There aren't those big 11 o'clock numbers that have got to stop the audience, that you want to be perfect. So it feels natural, and you're growing with the play as well as your scene work and blocking as the play progresses.
And I'm understanding Andy Robinson's directing this?
That's right. And then another Wagon Wheel favorite, Ben Dickey, came back for the kind of the tail end of our rehearsal process to kind of, and it's been really fun. He's added a really fresh breath of air late in our rehearsal process to say, oh, and then we've all kind of elevated to a new level because of that. So it's been fun.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you can tell me without giving everything away?
Keep your eyes open.
Yeah.
Watch everyone. Suspect everyone.
You never know what's going to happen.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.